following podcast is recorded and produced by Emerge, a media creators co-op, in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Virtuosos podcast. Before we get into, the main portion of the episode, which is going to be 99% of the boys, just want to give, a quick shout out to Trev. He used to, not producer, sorry, he used to be our editor. He did a lot of our early stuff. He won the giveaway for the NBA playoffs, but with that, he's getting banned from being in giveaways just based off that. But he killed it. He picked the Celtics as the winner, obviously. He's one of the few people that actually had the Mavericks in the finals as well. And he also, his worst pick was, I think, the Suns. I think the Suns were his worst pick because they got swept, obviously. But he killed it. I think he had 98.8 or 98.1%. He won it by a full, I think, two series almost. So that's pretty crazy to think about in general. Just glad we got a chance to do something like this. Kept people in tuned. I'm just glad that we had as much support as we did because there was a lot of people. A lot of people didn't even put their names, so I was kind of nervous that in case somebody that did win didn't have their name on it.
They would have to call you out by your username.
I'd have claimed that win. I ain't gonna lie.
About who is ESPN fan 24 Reno Swiggy? Like I don't know nobody.
It doesn't ring a bell. He got enough money.
It doesn't
he don't need
ring a bell. Like he don't got enough good.
Right.
Shout out to Reno though. Celtics fan, they won the NBA Finals. Real quick, Damon, you think Tatum got robbed the Finals MVP?
No, that's just we throw that word robbed.
Gives
around,
a fuck, right?
Yeah, I really don't care. I mean,
come on,
if Tatum don't care, why should I care?
Right.
You know what I mean?
We did it.
Like,
We did it.
We did it. Cringe ass moment.
Yeah, I just say this though. If everybody's saying Jaylen Brown's the best player on that team, having an All NBA first player as your second best player is nuts. I would love to have that.
I would love to have that.
I would love to have that All NBA first player.
I just don't have it.
Like, you know what I mean?
Unfortunately, I really don't have that. But to stick with you, Damon, last night or early this morning, you could even say you posted, your reaction to The Boys season 4, episode 4. Probably the best episode that they've put out, if not the best episode they put out. Real quick, immediate reaction was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I was shocked.
Yeah, I mean,
damn, they're speechless.
Like, what could you say? Like, so much stuff. Like, after I think like the first 15 minutes, I text you. I was like, this episode is like, it's one of those ones. Like, it's really, really, really different, and you could tell that it was like going in a different pace and a different direction. But first and foremost, we obviously want to touch on the major talking points. Now, one of the bigger, or I wouldn't say bigger, but one of the bigger characters, Butcher. He's been centered around the first 3 seasons. Not so much of this season, which is a good thing, kind of, drawing back from him and trying to highlight some other characters. But I want to say it was Huey. If not Huey, was it? I don't know who asked. I want to say it was Huey, but asked if he had powers.
Yeah, it was Huey.
It was Huey, and he said no.
They talk in the alleyway because he talks about he's gonna give his dad compound V. He's like, "Did you get powers?" But Butcher said no, he didn't.
He said no.
He said it didn't save his life either.
He said he took something from Frenchie. I want to say
he said he took the compound V from Frenchie, and all it did was speed up the process of his death. And didn't save him.
But with that, we got him versus Ezekiel. Now, this is in more the middle of the episode. Actually, no, towards the end. I'm sorry because everything started happening so fast. And he used the fire extinguisher to cut off his arm. And you think, well, Butcher's about to get out of another situation pretty easily. No, he actually is fighting for his life, and honestly gets choked unconscious. I'm pretty sure that's why he got choked unconscious. And in 2 different situations, he gets Becca telling him to get up. Now, how you gonna get up from being choked? There's no way fucking possible.
You literally see Ezekiel's hand wrap around the hand of the bar,
and he rips it like this
from the inside.
So
there was literally no way he could have got out of it.
Yep. And then I think you hear like a little high pitched like kind of wiring noise.
It's literally Ezekiel's scream.
Yeah,
it's like a weird noise, and you hear like Ezekiel like literally like the shortest yell imaginable.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just like a quick reaction, and then it just goes completely silent.
Yep. And then Butcher rolls over, and he got blood. There's blood everywhere. On his
literally.
face.
At first you see it on his face, and then like it starts to pan up, and you see like guts on like the lights in the ceiling and stuff like that. Like the trailer gets completely covered in blood, but the blood doesn't just stop there. It goes all the way out to the alley where Frenchie was thrown.
And they think that Frenchie's hurt at that
because
bad.
of the blood on the window on the wall.
So he splatters all over the place. It's not even the worst thing that even happened in this episode to start.
Not even. Probably not even top 3.
Not even. So Dame, I'll start with you. Do we think that the Butcher has powers? I'll counteract this, but I think we all agree that he has.
I definitely think he has powers. I think it's something where he's just. I think he has powers. I obviously don't really know what it is yet. I'll be honest, when it first happened, I thought A-Train ran through this motherfucker, bro.
I had a different
I was
person
like,
that
goddamn, like maybe and then part of me think like maybe Victoria Newman, maybe she needs Butcher. She can explode people. It's not like something. But then I was like, it makes more sense if it was just like you can't keep showing Butcher getting out of these situations like this without it maybe being something to do with him.
Yeah, with a payoff.
So and then I think maybe it's something where Butcher does have powers, but he blacks out when he uses them.
Yeah, and it's like a Moon Knight kind of thing.
Yeah, like
it kind of robs us of seeing it, but with it being only the 4th episode,
it'd definitely be a big reveal they'd want to show in the second half if they've already shown us so much in this first half.
Yep. For you, Damon, do you think Butcher has powers? I don't know if you touched on it.
I definitely do. But I think it's more like a symbiote. More to say, like it protects his body in situations that like he may not want to be in.
That.
Like
I like that.
Kind of like how we see that thing
because
you
see that it's like a snake-ish kind of thing crawling.
Yeah, like
through him.
protecting his body.
It started small, it was in his like temple area, and it goes towards his.
It started off in his back, and then crawls all the way up. It goes all over.
The first time we saw it in another part of his body was in the beginning of this episode when he was in that shower.
Yeah.
Because at first they only ever show it. They show it in his forehead, then like you said, his temple, and then it literally starts the episode with it crawling in his back. So it's all over his body.
Yeah. So it's taking part of it.
If not multiple of them. I mean, for all we know, it could be multiple.
It's way bigger now this time. So I think it is literally growing inside him. But I like that theory that's a symbiote.
Yeah, I never would have even thought about something like that, where it's something that's literally just a protector. It's not even something he can summon, but it wants to protect itself because obviously if he dies, it dies.
Yeah. I like that theory. So you would assume that. You think since it's a symbiote, he can't control it right now, but maybe down the line
until they become symbiotic.
Unless he accepts the fact that he does have powers.
And,
maybe he'll dive into it more in episode 5. But there's only one character that we didn't see that we've seen in every episode before, and it was Ryan. Yep. I do think there's a chance that because we don't know the full extent of his powers, and the last time we seen him, he exploded somebody's body by throwing him. We don't know if he just came in and just hit him and he just exploded the dude's body.
Right.
But last we seen
we
him,
don't know how long Butcher was passed out for either.
We don't. That's what I don't know what happened.
People could assume that he just blacked out for a second, but I mean, for all we know, he could have been knocked out a couple minutes.
Because they didn't know Frenchie was. Well, they knew Frenchie was getting into an altercation with Ezekiel, but they seemed like they got there pretty fucking late based off everything that fucking happened.
They missed everything.
Yeah. So that was already one major thing. I would say. I think we should consider that Ryan could have a play in this with him not being shown on. But the last time we did hear from him, how do you just run away? You're not seen all episode. Your dad's away killing his past trauma and everybody that was involved with that, and you don't show up with Butcher. You don't show up with Homeland. You don't show up with nobody. You're just out and about.
Right.
Victoria Newman is a good example since we know she is known to blow people up. I think that's pretty interesting.
And we still haven't seen that from either her or Marie's skill set yet.
Yeah, to actually blow apart
certain body parts.
Yep.
We've never seen them actually take apart a full human body. So
I think Ezekiel's power is pretty cool. The fact he's like a Christian guy and he's trying to like reach out to you, kind of thing.
Is like Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Like he his reach is.
And that's really the only time we see him use his powers. Like actually, the only other times we see him use his powers, he was being mad freaky. So I seeing him actually use his powers in the fight was interesting.
That fact he died is kind of like damn.
Killing off something.
A reoccurring guy like that is, I don't know, pretty interesting. But I'm not sure this happened all at the same time. Yeah, this happened all at the same
literally
time.
all the last 30 minutes, everything happened.
Yeah, so this is the point. Now we're gonna go to the next talking point. I just want to go from I guess least to most exciting. but this already picks up pretty well. Starlight.
Mm-hmm.
So Starlight's character for you, Damien. What else do you think she's hiding, or I would say that she's done that they're gonna uncover?
I don't even know at this point. Like, I didn't even consider an abortion realistically when they
I didn't think that was gonna be.
I didn't even think that was in like the
fact that
ballpark.
Huey was the dad. Like
I thought for sure it was gonna be like a thing where like she like got pregnant, not even like cheating, just she got pregnant and she didn't tell Huey, and that was gonna be like the big thing where like Huey finds out that she was pregnant and she made that choice without him and he'd be upset about it, and then something like that. Like the abortion thing was not at all what I expected when she said that this is how you should end your show. I figured it would be something to hurt Starlight, but I thought it'd be like another thing from the past, like from their childhood or something. Definitely wasn't expecting her to pull out.
I thought it was a childhood abortion at first, and then when Huey was like accepting to, I'm like, okay,
right.
What the fuck? When did this happen?
And it just happened during the off time in the seasons, but it's like, so that was actually pretty interesting. I don't know. I mean, at this point, they kind of keep throwing everything at us, and I mean that's clearly. But I don't even know if they want to keep going after Starlight at this point. I feel like what they did with Starlight in this episode,
the end accomplished everything.
Yeah, like I feel like now it's like, even if Starlight does have more skeletons in the closet, what else do you have to say? You got her for doing the stuff at the pageant. You got her for getting an abortion at 6 weeks when she's supposed to be a Christian, and now you got her beating up Firecracker on national television. And when she's supposed to be like this peaceful protester. Like everything that she stands for has been completely thrown out the window now. So even though she's the leader of this Starlighters movement, she's been completely disproven at every turn. So, like I don't even know. I feel like at this point now, like that is the first pebble down the mountain literally is just Starlight collapsing. Well, like the boys' most powerful ally now, other than Kimiko, is not going to be there.
And she's mute, so she can't really say too much. For you, Damon, how do you feel about Starlight's situation? Do you think it's going to get worse, or because she said she was going to put the suit on? I thought that was going to be.
She was going to get a super suit. Like I said,
I
that's
thought
where I thought we were
huge.
heading. Like I thought for sure we would be like, okay, we finally get like the real Starlight back. Now she can fly. Like we get her in a costume. We see some like real stuff, but like nah, man. They literally picked her up and then tore her down.
I think she gonna probably try to take some time off. Because like that's a lot to go through in that short of span. If she's hiding anything, I don't think like we care. I don't think the people care. Like they're already running with what they got. When did she blinded somebody and then with the abortion? So that's too bad. That's two like horrible things. Like granted, what Star or Firecracker did was horrible, like horrible. But she hates Starlight that bad to where she would bring down her own brand or possibly risk her own brand to bring Starlight down with her. So, Firecracker knew she couldn't beat Starlight one-on-one.
And she didn't even try.
She didn't even try. Got her ass beat. Like, basically, and what's crazy is Sage knew that Firecracker was going to get her ass beat. She's just watching, nowhere near the action, none of that. So, I mean, Firecracker damn near is a sacrificial lamb. Like, she...
Yeah. That was her whole thing.
Once Sage said uppity that, like it was pretty obvious. She knew that Firecracker was gonna get hurt for doing what she did.
So I don't even think Firecracker's gonna be in the 7 no more. Like she got her ass beat that bad. Like there's really no point of her coming back. Like Starlight is like she's in a different direction now. She's not this politician.
Like I said, she served her purpose.
Yeah, I don't think we'll even ever see. Like I think Firecracker will still be in the show, and I still think she'll play a part. But I don't think she'll be like. We'll never see her fight. She was literally there just as the talker. Like that's all she was. She was just their media person. So realistically, there's really not much else they could do with Firecracker.
Yeah, I think her character arc is done.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So even her getting beat up, we know Soup's heal fast.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's really no point for her to keep attacking Starlight at this point. They got the point across. They got what they wanted her to do.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I was very interested with the whole bit. Obviously, going directly across from where Starlight's office is and whatnot, I thought that was a pretty interesting move. I was wondering what was going to happen with all that. It starts with her and the deep fucking singing to each other,
right?
And it ends with her getting her ass whooped. And ironically, with all the lights flickering and all that, the cameras don't go out, which is pretty fucking ironic. Obviously, I feel like it would have been better if somebody was recording off their phone, where it probably couldn't, immediately affect it, but cameras hooked up to wires and shit. You would think that the cameras will obviously go off. I'm for sure she probably thought it fucking go off, but Mother's Milk stops her from probably killing her.
Oh, yeah,
I would say she was pretty close to killing Starlight, or not Starlight. What was her name? Firecracker. To go into the next part, you mentioned it, Damien, but I'll start with you, Damon. Sage mentioned the first pebble down the mountain. Who's next?
I think the Gen V characters is next. Like, it's kind of like the way she's like, her tone and voice is like, okay, I'm doing this for you. You know, we got each other's back. Like, when I need a favor now, you gonna have to help me out. Like, you help Firecracker out, you helping Deep out. That's two people. Maybe Black Noir isn't easy to like bring to her side, but she can easily do that. But I definitely think, especially with the commercial that we got, I think the Gen V characters will probably come in the next episode or two, and she'll try to convince Sam or Kate to do something that she wants, and you know, she'll end up getting everybody, you know, on her side at least, or a favor out of her that she needs at the end of the season. So
yeah, I think she's before you start, Damien, I think she's, like you said, we obviously know that she's trying to manipulate everybody, but the fact that I think her whole purpose was to give Firecracker the platform to, you know, publicly humiliate Starlight. That was the main goal. She already was growing, you know, independently without any help. With the 7 and Vault name attached to her, it catapults her into a whole different light. So obviously helps her do that. So now the first pebble down the mountain is destroy Starlight. Obviously, that was obviously what they wanted. How it happened, didn't think it was gonna happen. That, like I said, I didn't think it was gonna happen that fast. I was not opposed to it. I thought it was good. I thought they executed it great. I thought Starlight proved how powerful she really could be. And now that she hasn't been in the suit, it's kind of interesting to see that she's been only getting powerful. Right. She's flying and whatnot now. But for Sage to say that's the first pebble down the mountain, thinking about who's next and the fact that her and Deep shared another moment tells me that the Deep is not next. When I thought he would be next after she said he was repulsive, she didn't want nothing to do with him. She would never, you know what I'm saying? Like, she would never do it again. It was just like one of those things. So who is possibly next? You mentioned Black Noir. I think Black Noir is next.
So
I think he is next.
I'm gonna build on this. So I'm gonna use what Damon said and mix in what I said to you earlier. So I did say earlier that Black Noir would be the next pebble down the mountain because we have not seen anything with Black Noir yet. They can't keep letting this character go unused.
Yep.
So I'm gonna say that because he's so questionable by his role in the 7. Sage is gonna send him after Butcher because they're gonna assume that Butcher killed Ezekiel.
Yep.
But he's not gonna just want to go kill somebody because it's not Homelander sending him to do it. So they use Kate and her ability to tell people what to do to send him after Butcher.
Yeah, and I think it starts with him or her listening to him. Her ignoring him, just like I said, I was shocked by her ignoring him. I texted her, I was like, yo, I didn't think she was gonna ignore him. I thought she was gonna be the first person to interact with him. That still has a chance to happen since somebody has still interacted with him in a way where they got, you know, a full conversation now. It's always just one-liners, yo, stop what you're doing, cut that out, et cetera, et cetera. Now, like I said, if she can convince him, I think she's gonna have a conversation with him. He's gonna run it by Homelander, kind of thing. Like, well, Sage just told me to do this, and Homelander's not gonna listen to her, and I think he'll just go from there. So I think their two interactions going to be pretty important. It's obviously going to hopefully it leads to that Butcher and Nora fight that we've been talking about for the longest. Obviously, you know, we're halfway through the episode. They have not interacted really. He hasn't really interacted with Homelander in general. Like, Butcher has not even been around enough to interact with any other suits besides.
Only saw Homelander in the very first episode.
Yeah, so we're already in a weird spot where we don't have much of the Butcher against, like, Soups or nothing. And even when Huey went to go meet with A-Train, he didn't come out until after A-Train was gone. So he hasn't really been interacting with any of the Soups yet. So, I do think Black Noir is next. I do think it does start with her hearing him out. Like, that's what he wants. She's giving everybody what they want. Deep doesn't want to be disrespected, but now you give him a chance to have a voice, somebody to listen to, somebody that had that power. Then you go with Firecracker, who wants a platform to humiliate Starlight. She gives her a platform. So now, I mean, obviously she can't help Homelander. Homelander helped himself.
Right.
So the next pebble is either A-Train or Black Noir. I think A-Train's going to be dragged out a little more. I think he's going more towards Homelander now. I think Homelander's going to realize, obviously, what he realizes, but I think we will get that first interaction and first conversation out of Noir, who's been a funny character, but he was very, very dialed down in this episode compared to the first 3. As unfortunate as that is, but
I also think that I think she's gonna use these, like, she's gonna build all the 7 characters. Like, I'm not gonna say up against Homelander, but like make her to that she's as valuable as Homelander. Like,
yeah, I think yeah.
get rid of him. And now that we know that she can like, I don't guess turn her powers off. Like maybe Homelander tries to read into her and her powers is completely off. Like he can't get a read of her. Like
I
what
got
he's
something to
thinking
say
of,
now.
something like that. So I mean, it's a possibility. She's like, she knows she can't physically take over the Seven or Homelander, but like if she can get a crew together and get the people to turn against her or against Homelander, then that's how she takes over. But
Well, I'm not gonna guarantee it, but I got a theory already. We already know Homelander's whole thing is lasering people. Where is he lasering them? In the brain. He's gonna laser in the brain without knowing that her brain goes back. And people might forget that. People might remember that. He's gonna laser in the brain, thinking that she's dead, and she's gonna come back. I think that's gonna be a way to get her off the screen for a little bit, and her return is gonna be more powerful than expected. I do think that happens relatively soon, but that's his thing, is lasering people in the eyes, the brain. And like you text me, Damien. I hate to bring up our texts. They don't fucking know this. But you mentioned you thought the Deep was gonna fuck up and fuck her vision up, and I thought that'd have been a pretty cool thing if he did fuck up her vision, and she has to wear like an eye patch, and it's like kind of, you know, like that's permanent damage, so she could turn her mind off kind of manually now, based off losing vision in one eye. So her whole thing was pretty fucking cool. But we talked about it last week, the lobotomy tool. Now, Moranto mentioned it, and we went on a little bit more, like the self-harm thing, causing self-harm to yourself to feel good for a little bit. That was her thing. So the fact that we got that and we seen that, unfortunately we had to see that.
I turned.
I couldn't. I was like
watching, but I was like,
I already got sensitive eyes, so I was like,
I was so ready for something bad to happen. Like I was literally sitting there watching it. I'm like waiting for him to mess up somehow, and then it was just gonna be the worst scene ever.
Yeah,
I was expecting.
I don't know. Remember they mentioned that it's something that they got approved. They don't know how they got it approved. I don't know if that was it.
I don't think they've.
I hope that's not. I hope that it is it though, because I
definitely don't think they've shown it yet, because I don't think anything in the season yet has topped termite crawling in that dude's dick.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
I don't think they've topped that yet.
Clearly, she's done it to herself before.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Deep to do it is again like a manipulation of Deep.
Yeah.
Make him feel like he's important.
Make him feel like he's doing something that she's never had done to her before. So only way you know you can handle something like that is if you did it to yourself before on a minor scale. And maybe she can't do the hammer. Maybe she can't,
Get
fuck
it
with her brain
the way she wants to.
But obviously having him do that, and then they share a kiss after. Like she literally said, I just want to shut my brain off. I just want to stop thinking like this for just a minute, or a few hours. That's what it was, a couple hours. So the fact that Deep wasn't even paying attention to the fact that she had the lobotomy tool out already shows how much control she already has over him. He didn't realize it was there the first time. A bloody fucking tool on a book, just sitting there, doesn't catch your eye. Then what the fuck is else gonna catch your eye? You're just blatantly ignoring shit to ignore stuff. But any more theories about Sage in general? Like, I mean, you mentioned how you think she's gonna build up the Seven against Homelander to feel more valuable, and I think her value is already shown, but I don't think it's shown to obviously Homelander just yet, because he didn't see everything that happened, like how it went down.
Because he used to be way more like in control of the Seven and like what was going on. Like I think I remember in the first season, like Translucent left, like he was missing. He's like consistently asking about him over and over. Now he don't give a fuck. Like, it just.
So maybe we see a little bit of that in episode 5, because he was, like I said, he was out doing his own thing. We'll get into that later. He was out doing his own thing, so he don't know how everything transpired. Who set everything in motion? I think that's just important to the fact that she just assumed that role, and that's always been an issue. Is like, who's gonna, like, instead of agreeing with me and siding with me and realizing that, obviously I'm the most powerful person, I have the voice and I have the look and I have the, the appeal, but who is going to assume that role when I'm not around? If I got to go handle some shit with Ryan and I got to go be a dad, who the fuck is going to step up? I don't trust you, Deep, to step up. I don't trust you, A-Train, to step up. Obviously Firecracker, can't trust her to step up, nor didn't fucking talk before this. It's like, you can't trust somebody to step up. So seeing her step up, I'm not sure how he's going to take it. I feel like he's going to take it with grace because Starlight is out of the question. But wherever it goes from there,
I don't even think I can predict what Homelander's going to do at this point.
I don't. we'll talk about what he did obviously a little bit later.
It's
But
crazy because it like I watched the episode, but it's still only Thursday. Like
yeah,
I gotta
it's
wait.
still the day
gotta
it
wait
dropped.
for another like.
Yeah, it's still the day it
bro.
dropped. This is like the soonest we've ever like reviewed something ever. Like I feel like so.
Damn.
Her lobotomizing herself was a terrible scene to watch. The fact that she says she can shut her brain off for a few hours, is intense and scary. And we said her processing all that information is really fucking terrifying, especially when large crowds, and the fact that she was the only one in the building watching everything go down. She was by herself. You know, Ashley wasn't even there. Ashley was at fucking Homelander's place. You know, A-Train's off doing his own thing. Nora's not. Nobody's there. Nobody's around her. And that's how she likes it. She wants to be behind the scenes where she control her fucking environment. That's what she wants. So the fact that she got that and she felt like she was in full control, I think that was like very, very good for her character. And the fact that she still needed to do that shows how fucking how crazy her brain works. Absolutely. It's just she's too smart, and it's like you said, Damon, last week. She's cursed with knowledge. And she can't stop it unless she causes immense pain to herself. I'm talking like tearing her brain apart, which is in thinking about it is already bad. But the fact that they showed you it happening,
show you how she does it.
Yeah, no show has the guts or the ability or the payroll to do something like that.
Absolutely.
Going on to our next talking point. What's going on with Huey? Now, for me, I'm still on the train now. I think that his mom is real. There's some signs that could point to her being real. There's still signs that point to her being not real. But we'll start from the beginning of the episode. I want to say the doctor's talking to Huey and his mom, and she telling him that he's brain dead. He's gonna be brain dead. He's got a couple more days until you got to make a decision. He turns and says, "Mom, like, don't do this." Like, but his mom didn't say anything but he knows that instead of him just suffering, sitting there being a vegetable, like the obvious choice is to pull the plug. This is obviously a contradicting thing that happens in real life with real people, but the fact that he has to cope with literally a ghost is kind of fucking crazy, just in general. So we get to the point where he looks at the IV bag and he just leaves. Yep. So then we obviously got his arc with Kamiko, which was a pretty fun moment. Also another gruesome moment. Motherfucker trips on a fucking pallet truck.
Yeah, he literally breaks his ankle.
That's a fucking fear of mine because I walk through the warehouse to the office that we go into. That's a fucking fear of mine. Literally fucking tears his foot all the way fucking apart. Looked terrible, sounded terrible. He couldn't fucking walk. And Kamiko is basically training him with sign language how to fucking defend himself. Now this is a pretty important part because now we get to, a character that you talked about before. Who is she? And they go through the whole fight. Kamiko gets fucking blown to shreds. Still crazy how many ways she can fucking die and not die.
Come back.
But all the theories about that character is wrong. We see that Kamiko was helping. Maybe not by nature, but she was obviously forced to make people fight.
Yep.
Fight to be strong enough to be a part of this, and if not, you die. And if you die, you die. At the end of the day, their interaction was interesting. I thought it would be a little bit more. She just won the exchange punch on her stomach, and I don't know if the character has a name yet. I don't think they really mentioned her name or nothing. But she just says that you know what I'm saying, you helped them pick me up and you dragged me into the fighting ring and told me to fight or die. That's pretty fucking chilling. And instead of Kamiko apologizing or saying she didn't mean to, she just walks out.
Yep.
No apology, no sympathy. And this mystery character just sits there, holding her stomach. Don't know how fucking hard Kamiko fucking hit her, but she didn't get the fuck up.
Kamiko threw her speech books out too at the end of the episode. Like after that,
she speech therapy and all that.
Yeah.
So
I'm starting to get the vibe that with all of these characters, that their past trauma, where they think it's their trauma, is trauma they caused to other people.
Yeah.
Like Kimiko, this whole time you're like, okay, well she hates that terrorist organization because of what they did to her, but she also helped them.
Yeah.
Which, okay, like I get she was technically trained, but like it kind of makes sense then as to why she flipped out so much about like the kids being caged and all that when they were at the conspiracy expo, where she's like, calling them liars and stuff like that. Like, I mean, you literally were recruiting kids yourself.
Yeah.
So like, even
You
though
were
you
a
feel
vessel
like
for that.
you were still, even though you were a victim yourself, you also victimized others. So you're starting to see that with multiple characters now. With like, okay, yeah, they have trauma, but they also cause trauma to other people because of that. Frenchie's is the same thing. Like Frenchie may have been like forced to murder people because he worked for Little Nina, but at the end of the day, you're still a murderer.
Yeah, you're still a murderer.
Even if you were forced to do it by your boss, you were still a murderer.
Yep.
I was gonna say about Huey's mom, like this is probably like depending on what happened next episode, this is like the episode that like I can honestly say like it could really be a hallucination. And it was two scenes that first of all, the the compound V, I feel like that's more of a thing like, okay, originally he wasn't gonna do it because Butcher told him like, it doesn't gonna work. But now he has like somebody to blame. Like he has hallucination to blame. Like he can say it wasn't him. And then another thing I thought at the start of this episode, if his mother and him are not in contact, how are they at the hospital at the same time every time? Every time.
He's yet to receive a phone call from her, receive a text saying that he has to go to the hospital or meet
They're
me.
not in contact to be at the hospital at the same time. And then if she works at VOD, what work schedule is she on? Like Huey's not on a work schedule. He just leaves, ups and leaves whenever he wants. What schedule is she on to where she can just come to the hospital anytime? So unless she comes into the boys' tower and talks to fucking Mother's Milk or whatever, I'm not gonna believe she's real.
Until she knocks on the fucking door, drops a fucking water bottle, has interaction with real interaction with a person instead of just holding a fucking cup and sitting there with her coat over her arm and folding her arms. That's literally her fucking default stance. That's her generic quip. That's like you select her as a character and she got the fucking coat over. That's just her. That's just how she is. But to continue into the point, obviously Huey goes, gets a compound B from Atrium, who steals it from Homelander. And like you said, he needs somebody to blame. His mom is ironically at the hospital when he's trying to give his dad this compound V.
Not only at the hospital, she walks in right as.
And I'm about to say, let's think about it. Now that his dad is alive, like she's probably done after this episode. Like if we think about it, like he's gonna find out either she's real or not. And
the next episode definitely be the one that's proven.
Like this going. That's what I'm saying. So this is the last episode. Where it was like, okay, the theory could be true, could be not. So if he wakes up and was like, and Hugh asks, why did you help? Or I forgot. He put like her mom on the papers instead. Like instead of him.
Was like his.
So if he asks, as soon as he wakes up, he asks him like, your mother's been dead or something like that. Like how does he? Like how does he even react to that?
What you talking about? But that's literally what's gonna happen. He's not gonna have any recollection. Maybe he not even have no recollection of what happened. So maybe it might take him a minute to get back into the flow of things. That could be saved for the end of the episode, but
we also don't really know what happens to adults that take compound V.
But that's what I was about to say. Maybe he just fucked his dad up and just delayed his death.
We've never seen I don't think we in the show have seen like a full blown adult human take.
And
kind of like the real compound V.
That much, like he just literally put it all in. Like he clearly put it all in there. And maybe he didn't because Butcher or who told him to save some. Like
he said he was going to save some for Butcher, but like when they show Butcher inject himself, there was literally like the smallest amount left in that thing, and it didn't save him, quote unquote. Yeah. So we don't know exactly how much compound V you need to get. Every time we see a character get injected with it, they don't usually take the whole thing. Like I don't even think, and at least they don't show it. Like when Kimiko got her powers back last season, they had a syringe full of it, but I don't know if that's the whole compound V vial.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it really should be.
Well, I guess that Kimiko would be an adult that got compound V, but I wonder if it's different for her because she had it before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like her body was kind of already accustomed to it.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those weird things, but obviously Huey's going through something. I think like I said, I already said, I think he has the worst trauma because the only person that can confirm that she's gone is now awake. So if there's anybody you can trust to tell you that decision, it's gonna be your dad. How that comes about, when that comes about, when he mentions his mother, when she suddenly disappears again, and he's like,
she goes back to work.
Goes back to work, quote unquote. How that conversation is gonna go, or how him and his dad is gonna repair their relationship, because clearly he's gonna want to be around his dad for a little bit. because he missed all those phone calls, because he has all the voicemails, his dad just wanted to talk about things.
I could even see this like completely like snapping Huey's mental in half, anyways.
Yeah, and I was about to say, I
could be
completely
worse.
glossed over it. He killed a man.
Mm-hmm.
He literally killed a man
He literally
out of
slit his throat.
self-defense, but it got gruesome because he didn't have to go that. He overkilled. He gets lucky and stabs him as the guy's going to stab him. And he drags it across his entire stomach. So he cuts him open, and then in that motion, he just comes back and cuts his neck.
Well, it's the first person he's seen because he killed Translucent.
Yeah, but that
like,
was
he didn't
that
see him.
traumatized the shit
Somebody
out of
said,
him.
yeah, that he didn't like. It's like actually physically seeing him and doing it. And I think he killed. I think at the end of season 1, like he had a gun and was shooting at people, but like actually like. Right
and
there,
like stabbing
like-
somebody is like one of the most personal ways to kill somebody in general.
Yeah,
like or close to suffocation. I would say either or, but that was a scene where I'm like, oh shit, something is clearly going on with him. Maybe this temp V is making him making him a little bit more unhinged, making him act a little bit different. And the look on his face, he didn't have any regret. You know, he's just sitting there, blood on his face, no reaction, just what it is, what it is. So, I mean, what is going on with Huey? That temp V is fucking with him to the point where he's making irrational decisions that he's never made in the show before, doing things he should not be fucking doing. I don't think him giving his dad that compound V is a good thing at all.
I think it was a bad idea.
I think it was a terrible idea, and Kamiko
but I'm
even
cool
told
seeing
him.
Simon Pegg as a superhero though.
Yeah, I would be too. Seeing him as a vegetable for 4 episodes is kind of crazy in general. But the fact that Kamiko even told him was like, no offense, but you're supposed to let him die. That's what you're supposed to do as a son, as a loving son. You know, you got to accept that this is the end. Like,
Yeah,
and not
it's
everybody
time.
don't got access to no fucking compound V to be saving their fucking parents. And if that's what you're saving it for, then you could be fucking up the whole human race. How his dad responds to that compound V at his age and what he already just went through with a stroke and everything, because he woke up and it wasn't no like slow wake up or like you hear the heart
Like he shot
monitor
awake.
going. He literally shot like he got literally resurrected, like like a whole different life or something. So I thought that was I thought Huey's arc throughout the whole episode was some of his best that I've heard of, seen in general. Like, highlighted him as one of the best characters so far this season.
And then you got to think like this was from Homelander's area. Like this might not be some regular like shit. Like this might be some
This might be the
enhanced-
strongest of
this
the
is shit
strong.
This is shit that Homelander had in his own area that nobody else can access, like or even dare try to access. So this could be some crazy ass shit. Like, so I don't know, man. I'm excited, man.
Yeah, because not only could he blame his mom, but he could also blame A-Train, saying that you gave me something that wasn't compound V. Maybe you fucked with it. Maybe like it's just a long line of excuses and a blame game. I think is like just the fact that he's highlighted this much in this episode shows that his trauma clearly they're showing as it's probably the hardest to overcome.
Right.
Talking to a goat like Butcher is very aware that Becca is not real,
Yeah,
even
so
though he's talking
he
to her.
knows he's dying. So it's like it could even be one of those things
Because
where
she
Huey-
fades in and out.
It could honestly be one of those things where Huey doesn't know he's dying, and he actually is. Like we might just be like underlying it. Like we might just be like, oh, he's just hallucinating.
Yeah, could
Like,
you
I
be
mean,
a little
what
bit
if-
slower? Yeah.
I mean, what if everybody's different? Like, what if Huey actually is dying still? Like, just because he didn't take that one extra dose. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're telling me that because he took. So if I took 5 Xanax instead of 6, I'm
You'd be
gonna
alive.
live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Like,
That's literally how it works, bro.
yeah. So
You shoot yourself twice compared to once.
yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that.
So if she is actually there, like when he went to get the coffee, did she come in timing wise enough to like see him put it back into his pocket when she came?
That's
in
why
the
I don't. That's
door?
why I don't think she's real. Like it just felt like there's no way. Like he didn't have it in his hands enough for her to be able to see it.
Right.
Like you know what I'm saying?
So,
Like his
like-
hands were already in his pockets
Yep.
when it happened. Like there's nothing he did where it could have been a motion where it was like, oh, he's definitely hiding something. People have their hands in their pockets all the time.
Yep.
Like he did nothing that should have gave it away. So and like I said, I feel like it's just like a mental thing. Like I said, where he injected it, went out to get that coffee because he couldn't believe he did it. And then like I said, and then like what Damon said, when he came back, now he has somebody to blame.
Yep, because he said I need
Like
fresh
I said,
air.
he
Where do you need
injected
fresh air from?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You just sat in the bed and looked at him. You didn't do anything.
And again, another like, why are they like? How does she? What schedule do she work at to be there at the same time as him? Like,
well, I mean, do people?
He went there late.
People do get leave from their jobs when family members are not.
right.
But
I'm just saying.
But they've been just separated for so long. You would think she don't have any family because based off, you know, what I'm saying, working with Vought, they would know.
But is it like? Isn't there a piece of paper that says that she's the medical proxy?
Yeah, there is.
But where is it at?
Yeah, but we know, but they've never shown it to us outside of that one time
But
when
the
she
lawyer
was.
saw it. So
Right.
is he hallucinating so much that he made up a fake?
He made up a whole scenario. Like he's making up full blown scenarios. I feel like to the point where like if he's not with a real character, that whole shit could be blown out of proportion. Maybe his dad didn't even fucking wake up yet. You know what I'm saying? Like he's might be so far gone that he don't even realize what's going on until somebody else is with him. So I don't know who needs to be with him to hold him accountable for the things he's doing, whether it's Kamiko, whether it's Starlight, but him going out his way and doing so many things like by himself is like very, very concerning for somebody that's going through what he's going through. So I don't know, like I said, his character being highlighted this much is a good thing because we talked about before the season started, he wasn't good enough to be that main character. You know what I'm saying? He didn't have anything going on for him. But this storyline is enough to have him be a focal point for at least a couple episodes, not a full ass show because he just didn't deserve it.
And he's also used to latching on to people. Like he had the girlfriend that lasted about 10-15 minutes. Then he had Butcher that he latched on to like during life or death situations, latched on to Starlight. Like he's constantly in the need of like latching on to people, like protecting somebody or trying to help somebody. So his mother being a hallucination could be like, okay, like Starlight's doing her own thing. Like I need somebody to lean on. I need somebody to help me with these situations.
I wasn't sure if I was believing it, but the more you guys talk about it, now I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe. I'm like, I'm coming more down the road to your side of the road.
Yeah,
it's starting to get to the point like if she is real,
then they did a good job of making us believe that she wasn't, and that's great on the show to make people balance back and forth. But that interaction, if she is real between the father and her, I don't know how that would fucking go.
He might kill her. Like
I don't know what he would say. I don't know how he would react mentally. You know what I'm saying? Let alone physically. I want to know what this Compound V would do to him, like at his age. With his medical history now. A whole stroke. It ain't say it was just like some like stroke he was going to recover from. It was a stroke he was going to die from in a couple of days. Like he was not
clearly
going to
a major
recover
stroke.
from it. So he was gonna be out of there. So I think yes, Huey has a really, really good storyline in general. As good as he has one. But moving on to another good one, Frenchie. Now
I called it.
I'll start with you, Damien. You are a Frenchie guy. You think he's one of the better characters. How do you feel about him finally admitting that guilt?
I think it works better for his character that he admitted it, but I for sure didn't think he was going to. I thought he was going to get caught by Colin himself.
I thought that'd been better.
When I'd called this out when they first showed Frenchie with this dude, because in every movie ever, every show ever, when a character does something bad to a person's family, they always do that thing where they flip the damn picture frame down. Immediately, I called that out when me and my mom were watching it, that he clearly did something to this guy. I didn't know if he killed his family, but I knew he did something to him. So once you find out that he killed his family, I was like, okay. And then he has a conversation with Cherie, and she's like, you got to stop with the whole taking in strays thing. Like, you killed this guy's family, like, and now you're protecting him. You're falling for him. It was pretty crazy to see, like, Colin kind of recall what happened. Like, Colin being in the house was a pretty interesting detail. Seeing the fact that the guy had these scars on his ankle. So, like I said, when that happened and he said that, I was like, okay, Frenchie's going to get caught. I thought Colin was going to be helping him and was going to roll up his pants or take his boots off to help him, and he was going to catch it.
I thought he already knew once he mentioned the ankles.
Okay, that's a note because
I thought he already knew.
So it would have made sense too.
Yeah, I thought he would know based on he literally seen him naked.
So Huey admitting, like I said, I think it's better for his character as a whole for him to be able to stand up and admit it rather than just getting caught red-handed. But it does kind of make me wonder now what happens with Frenchie. I mean, Frenchie was already hurt, and then he just got beat to a pulp again and almost choked out.
He wanted to get.
Yeah,
choked out.
and
He
like,
said,
that's what I was
"Come
gonna say. I
on."
was like, and on top of that, he told him to kill him. He
Yep.
basically said, "Do it." Like
he was ready.
So he was ready to go.
Mhm.
So Frenchie's where Frenchie goes next, I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I don't think him and Colin's relationship is fixable.
Yeah, I think that might be the last we see of Colin.
Yeah, like I said, I can't see him being anything other than like a character with Starlight now. But that's if
Starlight's
Starlight's house
close,
does.
yeah.
But that's if Starlight house doesn't
Yeah,
just
I
get shut
think he's
down at
damn
this
near
point
done.
because of that. So he might just be done as a character. But I could see this being kind of like the start of like Frenchie now kind of redeeming himself, like not even trying to be funny, but like on some like Bucky Barnes Winter Soldier type shit.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Bucky had that whole list of going back and apologizing and fixing mistakes he made as the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
It could see something very similar happen with Frenchie.
Yeah. There was
Where
a
he-
lot
he
of
wants
bodies,
to
a lot of bodies in that room more
That's
than
what
just
I'm
his
saying.
family. So
And so, like, so where Frenchie wants to redeem himself now. Like, he knows, obviously Frenchie's been a better character, a better person since we met him in The Boys. We don't know too much about his past outside of, like, that he worked for Little Nina.
No, it's not Marvel, so I don't expect those families to forgive him.
No, yeah,
I
exactly. That's what I'm
I could
saying.
be
Like,
wrong. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't-
Bucky
I
done
said-
killed the thousands, millions of motherfuckers, and he cool.
that's what I'm saying. Like I said, like, that's where like, be a little more realistic. Where, like, he wants to make up now for what he did in the past. Like, he wants to be the person that saves instead of the person that hurts. So, like, with the path he's going on right now is really interesting. Like I said, I would have preferred had he just been caught. Just for the story and drama aspect,
Yeah.
but like I said, for a character development story, I respect that he actually admitted it.
yeah, I thought it was an interesting scene. For you to mind, like, so we mentioned all those bodies in that room. How do you think? What else do you think is really gonna haunt him going forward? Because I don't think that was a big step into, obviously, recovering from his trauma. But what else do you think he would have to do? But I mean, the Bucky Barnes route makes sense, but like I said, realistically,
Yeah. It's kind of tough because it's like I feel like this all he knows is like doing what he does for the boys. Like even like in the trailer, he got into the trailer, got information. Like I don't. Maybe that's not enough for him no more. Like maybe he quits the boys for a little bit. I don't. It's like a tough direction to go in with him because like, I mean, if Colin's really done as a character and Starlight's like program is done, he's going back to the boys and basically doing the shit that he don't want to do no more. So, I mean, I think there's a possibility that he just quits. Like he just quits. You still got Kamiko there. Him and Kamiko ain't really had many interactions. Like
This
they haven't
season,
been on screen together that much. So I mean, it's interesting to see. But I in my opinion, my guess would be that he quits or tries to quit.
well, I got a theory. I think y'all would like it. Out of both sides, the boys and the seven. Aside from Homelander, we've seen the most happen in terms of the trauma with the boys' side. Huey with his mother, if it's hallucination or if it's real, he just got his dad back from a life-threatening situation. Like Lily had a major stroke. Then you got Mother's Milk is just a character, so we won't even touch on that. Kamiko came face to face with somebody that she literally, kidnapped and fought for however many times. She brutally scarred this woman, for life. Scars all over her face. Something that she has to accept throughout her speech therapy books. Starlight lost everything. She had one of the situations where, a politician got exposed and there's no redeeming. She lost her Republican vote, got cut off completely. And then we have Frenchie, who just admitted to killing a man's full family, a man that he was in love with out of guilt, obviously, but that obviously could change. I don't think he's redeemable, but with him, with Colin, obviously, but maybe he's redeemable down the line. Could the boys just be done? Could this be a situation where the Butcher finally comes back? He's as strong as he's gonna be from this point on. Like, I guess maybe he knows he has powers based off that interaction. Maybe he doesn't. But can they even come back from something like everything that they just went through in that entire
when
day?
everybody's down bad.
Everybody's down.
Except for Mother's Milk. Like,
Everybody besides Mother's Milk and Butcher are down. So what would they do? Turn to Gen
it could be
V
like one of
characters.
those things where they disband for an episode or two.
I think they disband. I think
Until they realize
I
they need
think
to
they
come back
realize
together.
that until they have to come back, obviously. But I think they realize that they have to figure out what they have to figure out on their own. especially Huey having to probably, like I said, have those conversations with his dad, sit down and, take care of him if he needs to recover. Same thing with Kamiko. She needs to patch up some things, or at least go back and, talk to that, that woman, the character that still has yet to be named, what she did to her and how that affected her. And maybe she finally is able to speak. Maybe that'll allow her to speak. And same with Frenchie. He'll have to, basically address those families. I don't know how he'll address it. Maybe he wants to get arrested. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe he feels like he shouldn't be a free man, stuff like that. Because he can't be fighting for good if I did all this evil. And then Starlight, she exploded. And I didn't think she was as distraught about it as I expected. Maybe it, takes a little bit. The phone call was a little bit worse for her than the whole, situation of her fighting. Like, her realizing that the recording wasn't too big of a deal to her. She just got out of there.
Right.
But, the consequences will obviously show a little bit later down the line. So they're in their worst position that they could be in.
Annie lost her mom. I mean, her mom is like her biggest fan, and her mom's not answering her calls now.
Yep,
She's found out about that. So that might be more. It might be more about the personal sake. I don't think she cares if she lost Starlight House or she got caught with all that stuff. Like, that was like a thing. But
so it's like, what is remaining of this team? Who's going to keep them together?
I got another theory too. When you done.
Yeah, you can go ahead because there almost is nothing.
So I'm just going off of the context of the last 4 seasons or whatever. So A Train, I think the writing to kill Huey dad, or then try to kill Huey. What if Huey dad goes after A Train? Like, on some shit. Like, yo, remember what you did to me and my son? He got powers now. Like, yeah, Huey said he forgives him, but he doesn't know that. Like, Huey's dad don't know that. So, I mean, it's a possibility. Like, you're not going to just say, like, maybe I'm, like, overthinking it, but if I woke up and found out I had powers, I'm not just going to be like, oh, okay, I'm good. I'm chilling. You know what I mean? It's something.
It could fuck him up to that point. Or, even along the lines of, he says, like, or he questions, like, how did this happen? Mm-hmm. And he mentions A Train. Then maybe that sets him off. Maybe that gives him, fuel to the fire.
We don't know what abilities his dad.
We don't know. I don't know how powerful he could be, what his ability would be. If the compound V was sectioned off a certain way based off, whatever powers you may get. If he turns into a fucking Homelander because it was in Homelander's space, I don't know what the context of the compound V would be, how it sets him off, or if it does set him off. I think that would have Huey in a whole different.
Was he? I'm trying to remember how pro-hero was he? Was he really into the heroes and stuff?
I don't think his dad ever really said anything.
I don't think his dad ever. I think his dad almost like kind of out of
Yeah, because in the first season they talk about how Huey was like the biggest fan of the Seven.
Yeah,
Huey was A Train ran through with Robin,
and he was like, just take the money, like just take the hush money.
Yeah,
and
he was telling him like,
you're not gonna beat him.
Yeah, like don't worry about going against them. So they never really talk about where his dad, like, because his dad's really only a major character, like, really in the show in the first season.
I was just trying to remember if there was any situation where he would be like
against him getting
against them, like hate that he became that he was saved by something that maybe he was like doesn't like. I mean, I think there's a lot of. I mean, obviously Simon Pegg's a really, really talented actor, and if they it's weird when I always thought it was kind of weird when you think about it that they were using him as the dad, where they could use like basically any guy. Like they could have hired me.
Yeah,
like,
he's not an
important character. Yeah. But were they playing a long game? We're gonna have Simon Pegg play.
That's what I'm saying. It's not like this is like another huge actor.
He might just be a completely different dude under his whole personality might change. Like
that's why I said, like if it sets him off to a point where like he is going to eventually go and hurt people,
instead of Huey having to let him go the normal way, Huey has to kill his dad now.
Yeah, he could eventually, be in the 7, like, and being that powerful, like, he could be in the 7, or he could take matters into his own hand, like you said. Maybe he threatens A Train, and Huey has to save A Train finally, and maybe that's the whole full circle moment. A Train's already helped Huey enough. That's enough for I did enough. I literally saved your dad's life, or did I? Right. Or did I ruin yours? You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know the context of this compound V. The fact this comes in episode 4 out of 8 shows this is clearly a major point towards the rest of the second half of the season, So obviously, that halfway point matters so much for the second half of the season, and everybody had their big moment. That's why I said, what if they do disband? Even couple episodes, and maybe Butcher goes and finds the Gen V characters, or maybe not. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? There's a good chance that if we do see the Gen V characters, it would be because of the Butcher, not because of Homelander. Homelander don't want
And
them
there's
out.
still a lot of scenes from the trailer that we haven't seen yet. So like,
There's a lot.
we still got the Compound V chicken. We still got him showing the virus. We haven't even heard the
I'm surprised we haven't heard of the virus
Yeah,
yet.
we haven't. Yeah, the only time they mention it is when he brings it up to Newman. That's it. They still got the whole Homelander speech where he's like, "We're not celebrities anymore. We're almighty gods and stuff like that." Where like the whole mindset changes, which that could be next episode. If he abandoned his
knocking out the
humanity,
park.
I mean, yeah. So there's still a lot from the trailer we haven't seen yet. So this is not like how most trailers are, where they get the first 2 episodes.
Yeah,
in there and call it a
Invincible
day.
shit had me mad. I'm like, yo, all of that was in there. I mean, they could use the virus for his dad too, though. Like they could end up like Huey.
That's what I'm saying. Like if
Butcher
his
got
dad ends up
doing
becoming
it.
bad, like I said, like I could see a thing where it's like Kimiko saying that you should have just let your dad die, and then his dad becoming a horrible person because of the Compound V.
Yep.
And then
And
Huey
there's
does
nobody to blame
and then
besides
Huey
him.
does ultimately have to kill his dad anyways. Could be another thing where like this would not surprise me if the show went in that direction.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to make a sacrifice now, and if that's a sacrifice you got to make, that fucking sucks for Huey. So like I said, I think the boys is a chance that they do disband. It could be interesting if they don't and how they recover with him, because they already had problems. You see how Starlight reacted just seeing Butcher and her in the Starlight house, talking about what the fuck is he doing here. So it already ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? Kamiko and Frenchie haven't been on the best terms, and they've been inseparable. Huey and Starlight's business, whole entire sex life has just been brought out to light.
Right.
Not in a good way either, and not even what I'm saying. So obviously a lot is gonna happen. The fallout from episode 4 into episode 5 is gonna be huge. I'm excited. It's crazy we're reviewing this shit on the same fucking day.
That's
Like,
what I'm
it's
saying.
been
Like,
I think it's like the
make me
first
mad.
time.
Like,
It's actually
damn,
the
like
first time.
I made the video. I watched it as soon as it came out. Like, I'm
Fucking
damn near
went to
20
sleep, ate, did everything I had
Like,
to do.
bro,
Still
and
ain't
I
record
still
yet.
got another 7 days.
Still
left.
ain't record yet.
Like, damn, bro.
Yeah, that's really how I felt. But last but not least, we gotta talk about the best actor performance by Anthony Starr, and that's fucking crazy to say, based off his whole entire work of the show. Homelander's revenge was another plot point that was, throughout the entire episode. Now, we talked about it, we speculated, what's behind the red door and all that, but it went way deeper than that. It went way deeper than that, and so I'll start with you, Damien. What was the most intriguing part of this entire Homelander revenge arc?
I think finding out how powerful he was from the beginning.
Yeah, me too.
Finding out that his mother was literally just some random person off the street that they paid money to carry.
Crazy.
Him lasering himself out once he was to full term, flying out of the womb. I mean, like, he didn't have to learn these abilities. Homelander even technically was ahead of Ryan from the time he was born. Ryan still has to learn how to use his abilities. Homelander was born knowing how to use his abilities. He's flying and using his lasers and all that as soon as he was born.
Yep, he's
I
an
think
outlier
that's,
for
to
real.
me, that was the most intriguing thing, to see that, like, this is not something that he was taught. This is not something he, like, grew up with. He just immediately had it. They created the most powerful superhero right out of the womb. But I also think that, like, Barbara exposing the whole Vought plan.
Yeah.
When they realized very early on that he chose not to leave. He's always been stronger than him, even from the time he was a toddler. He could have easily ran through the entirety of Vought and escaped, but he chose to stay there because of love and approval.
Yep.
And I think that was probably the second most interesting thing to me, where it's like, this whole time they've shown that we're like, Homelander's always ever cared about his approval rating.
Yep.
Does the majority of people love him? What do his points look like? How does he help the company? Because he wants the approval of Stan Edgar. He wanted the approval of Madison Stillwell. And to see that Vought realized that at a young age, and we're bringing in the best psychologists and the best people to make sure that he felt that way, so they could basically use him for whatever they wanted.
Yep. So that was their greatest success.
So, like, that's crazy to think that, like, this whole time they made it seem like Homelander was held against his will, and that, like, they were doing these horrible things to him, and they were, but he's always had the ability to leave. He just literally chose not to.
Yep. I think that all goes into one, though. You're saying, like, how strong he was, but for how strong he was physically,
He was weak
how
mentally.
weak he was mentally,
Yeah.
and how he needed that to become that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he needed the whole, I need love and I need approval, So now I need to prove that I'm strong. So yeah, I need to go in this oven and bake my fucking skin off, and it doesn't fucking burn. It's like, damn, I really am as strong as I think I am, but I need more than that. I need you guys to, accept me, and I need you guys to love me, and I need you. And the fact that I think her best quote was that, and that's as human as. And that's very human of you.
Yeah, like something like that.
And I was like, damn, he is as human as you could think of, because humans have a problem with accepting, themselves.
They want to be accepted, and they want
the
to be
approval.
loved.
They want the gratitude. They want the love. They want the admiration, etc. Whatever the case may be. So that whole arc was pretty interesting. I love how. I think the elevator is going down technically, based or not.
Yeah, it was.
I think technically it goes from B2 or B1 to B6.
Yep, so it's going all the way down to the sub basements.
Yeah, like I'm talking the
And
depths
I
of
honestly
fucking
thought the
hell.
way that the
6
cut-
feet under, basically.
The way the cut was when the episode first started, I thought it was gonna be like a time lapse thing. Like, how shows like to do that, where like it shows the elevator opening. I thought that was gonna be like, and it'd be like a day earlier.
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. The way that it was, like the way the shot changed, but because I was like, oh, Homelander's definitely in this elevator. But I thought it was gonna like open up to him being covered in blood already. Like, he'd already hurt people on the other levels, but then it turns out that this was just when he first arrived.
Yep.
And carrying the cake and all that. So like instantly from the moment he steps out of the elevator, you feel like how much tension's in that room.
Yeah.
Like they know he's not
You
supposed
could
to be
feel
down
it.
there.
Every time he came on the screen, I was like,
Yeah, as soon as they said that they
Motherfucker's
couldn't hear
scary.
anything on the phones and that the screens went black, I was like, that's fucking Homelander. like if they have no other way if everything's cut off, that's Homelander.
for you, Damon, how'd you feel about this entire episode for Homelander?
Shit. First of all, I do want to say I seen a comment on a video I made. They said, "What if the cake was made of shit that he gave them?" I was like, you know what? I'm not even gonna put that past him. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely he's petty. So we
shitty
know.
ass
Eat
cake.
this shit.
You know what I mean?
Like the cake,
They
bro.
killed it
The
though.
cake.
That cake got a couple slices out of it.
Yeah, I think the whole shit was down there gone. He said it was melting and everything
Yeah.
too.
So
So
I mean, definitely like I love how they basically did this with no flashbacks. Like,
Yeah.
we basically got his whole backstory
And the
without
flashbacks
no
were literally
flashbacks.
just like eye blinks.
man,
Yeah,
like you could,
so-
I basically missed all of them. Like
Yeah.
I seen them, but I don't see. What
Yeah,
the fuck is
there was,
happening.
you would have had to pause to really see what was going on.
Yeah. So
So obviously it's horrifying what he does to those people. And it's like the psychological terror as much as what he physically does to them
Oh yeah.
eventually. But the other thing is, what are those people doing down there? Like, who were they experimenting on now? Like, because clearly they work down there. There's new people. So is Gen V down there? Is that what we're supposed to believe Gen V is? Like,
Yeah, on
who's-
a different level.
are they in a
maybe?
different level? Like, is there other people on that level that we don't know about? Like, why were they in that room? Like, why?
They just
The
chilling.
first poster you see is like it says Homelander and it shows different suits again.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
suits with like helmets and shit on it.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, we don't know if they could be trying to make another Homelander. This Homelander's getting older.
Maybe they were trying to, and they got caught in the act.
Yeah,
Unintentionally.
Yeah, like
And
so,
that
like I
just
mean,
changed
because
everything.
it doesn't have to be something where Homelander even knows about it, but it's like, like he might not even knew what they were working on down there. He was just going to get revenge because that's where he's from. But like, they could have easily been working on another superhero. Like, I mean, obviously they have Ryan, but they don't know if Ryan's gonna work out like that.
yeah, because I was gonna say, Soldier Boy, they made like a Homelander. Like, they had the idea of Homelander before they like captured Soldier Boy, right? And threw
Well,
him to
yeah,
Russia.
yeah. So like that's why Stan Edgar told them to give Soldier Boy to the Russians. And that's the whole reason that whatever the name of Soldier Boy's team was back then gave him up because Stan Edgar was telling Black Noir like, hey, listen, we have a plan for a new hero. Like we don't need Soldier Boy anymore. And they were gonna take Homelander because like Soldier Boy had already given them his DNA before he had went on this mission. And so they already knew, like, they had already been successful in these tests and all that, so they knew they were going to be able to grow the embryo for Homelander. So like I said, that wouldn't be surprising if they were just trying to build another Homelander. Like, you want to keep another hero like that out there.
Yeah.
Especially when you know
Which
this
makes you
one's-
think that they're
Oh.
working on the next version.
Yeah, that's what I'm
now.
saying. Like, trying to improve anything that there's any weaknesses you can find with this Homelander,
Yep.
keep improving it.
So maybe they stopped when Stan Edgar went to jail. Like, they just completely stopped trying it. I think that's probably like after he went to jail, they was like, oh shit.
But they're still going to work every day.
Yeah, but say
so
those
what are
people-
they
they
working
still
on?
working
But like,
on
I'm
it.
like, I'm talking
Yeah,
about
they
like
were
on a
active.
Homelander like variant, like the stop Homelander. They probably just down there. I don't know.
Lost his shit.
I feel. I
maybe.
mean,
They
he
have
he
no
would have seen
direction.
something or had some type of proof or
I
like
don't even
he'd
think
have
I don't
asked-
think
Well, he
Homelander
just doesn't
cares
give a
about that.
shit.
Yeah.
I think Homelander was down there just for revenge. I don't think he gave a fuck what
I
was
don't think
going
he.
on
Yeah,
in that room.
I think that's unintentionally because ironically, we see, like the basically like a Homelander V2. Like we got the 3 different figures. I think we see with almost different type of suits. They're similar but different at the same time. So I think that's a thing that that they just put like, oh wait, put it in there, and then when he goes back and he's in Vought Tower, they're gonna realize that their plan, or whoever's plan it is, because everybody's dead down there. I don't know who could have been orchestrating everything down there. Whoever it is, whoever it was, is gonna realize that their plan just got fucking.
Well, Barbara, I think Barbara's still alive.
She might be in the bad room.
Yeah, she was. She was.
She was
the way I took it is that
he locked her in there and killed everybody else.
Yeah,
outside.
he killed her, but made her. He brought all them in there, made her watch as he ripped everybody apart. And he literally told her, he said, "I called it." He's like, "This is the bad room to me because I get locked in here for days on end, hours on end."
Yeah.
He left her in there to die.
Yeah.
Nobody. I would imagine not everybody involved, if anybody knows that lab exists outside of those people.
Yeah.
This is clearly a super secret lab.
That's why they were so shaken by the point that like, why is somebody
even coming in here?
Yeah. Who could be possibly coming down?
So that's why it's like I feel like Homelander, he knew what he was doing. He locked her in there and left her to die. She's not gonna be strong enough to open up that door from the inside.
Because he didn't even open it.
Yeah.
He didn't want to at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
So like I can't see her ever get out. He left her in there with those horrors, and like I said, it's everything she said. She's like, we knew we could never match up to you physically.
Yep.
It was just a mental game, and then he showed her. He's like, okay, well here's my physicality, and then locked her in there.
Yep. I think the whole episode for him was insane. Obviously we had the first guy, can't think of his name, Frank I think it was, goes in the oven because he's what Homelander sees on the outside is that Frank is just nonchalantly playing waist basketball, and he's fist pumping, he's celebrating that he doing that, and I guess every time he made a shot he would turn the temperature up. That was kind of his own personal game. Why the fuck would you do that if you couldn't handle him physically? Stupid as fuck. And then you don't recall it. I don't know if you just said that. It's like, oh, come on, I'm just doing my job. Probably shouldn't have said that either.
I think that's when Homelander decided to put him in the oven.
Yeah,
is when he said, I was just doing my job.
Yep.
Like, I don't want to hear that.
And the way I think the most crazy thing about it was that he's getting burned, he's gasping of air, and he tries to touch and it just burns his hand off. And it's like, well, that's literally what happened.
And then Homelander misses the shot, and says, "Oh, you would have won too."
Yeah. So then we had Marty, which was an interesting arc. I didn't think they were going this way at all when they first started. I thought it was gonna get a little bit more traumatic, a little bit more like kind of on.
Yeah, but this is like all this stuff plays right into where it's like Homelander was getting experimented on in these horrible ways, but the people that he hurt the most in this lab were people that just made fun of him. They hurt his feelings.
Yep,
it had nothing to do with
said.
physical pain.
No physical.
He's just
pain.
petty. Anybody that laughs at him or it tried to embarrass him, he hurts. He doesn't care.
I thought it was you touched me.
Yeah,
like, I couldn't get off, so you helped me. Yeah, but no, it was you laughed at me.
Yeah, you laughed at the
and
fact that I couldn't.
You hurt my feelings. I was like, damn, this motherfucker is evil.
Yeah, he literally was only there to hurt people that literally embarrassed him. That was it. It was never anything like these people didn't do anything to them outside of their jobs. They, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were experimenting on him with what told him to do, which was horrible because he was a kid. But he literally just hurt these people because they laughed at him because they did something to him. It was never anything physical.
Nobody would say it was wrong, and that's what he was waiting on, for somebody to basically say that they loved him and that they cared about him enough to. He even said, "Marty, you were nice to me, mostly." This one incident that I recall.
He remembered that one time that he did that, and that got him killed.
Yep. So do y'all think it was more workers there that he just they were just not like he really thinks they were just doing their job, and it was like those two specifically did something bad to him? That's
why he had to publicly admit it. I mean, like, you just ironically see somebody like you can't it's almost like looking out of a car window. If I'm looking out a car window, I can only see what's out the car window. I don't see what's in my blind spot here or my other blind spot here or that window or that. I just see out here. So peripheral is seeing that this guy is playing fucking waste basketball and getting burned to death, but you don't see the 10, 12, 15 other people how they feel.
He saw the people, he saw people in front of the glass taking notes, directly in front of the mirror watching him taking notes.
So it's anything
but those people weren't doing anything. They were just taking notes. But it was the fact that, like I said, that Frank was in the back celebrating and cheering, playing basketball while watching a kid get burned and turning up the temperature whenever he'd make a shot.
Yeah,
like I said, it's the petty stuff. Like I said,
it's like he's passing time, but he's thinking that he's just.
If Frank would have just been in there doing whatever, Homelander probably would have never killed him. He would have never forced him into the oven or threatened his family. But because he did it so nonchalantly, like he wasn't doing the worst thing ever.
If you don't go in, your
he's like, your family will join you.
I was like, that's pretty fucking insane. And
So, and that's funny that he brings up the family. He brings the family twice. He was like, if you beat me in basketball, I'll let you go see your family. I'll let you leave early. You can go see your family. And then he says, I'll throw your family in here with you if you don't go in the oven.
Yeah, it was a chilling episode in general for Homelander because I really do think, like you said, it was the mental thing and the fact they bring out how human he is. And it's crazy. Somebody on the video was like, what's the difference between him lasering somebody's head and lasering like a body part? And it was like, that man was definitely gonna die. He said put him out his misery, so he was gonna die. There's nothing he can't stop the fucking
You would think that lasering somebody would cauterize the wound, but I guess it really just I don't know. I mean, you can't use like full science, and this is a comic book show.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Like obviously, maybe
because it's the same thing.
Maybe it was like his hand. Like he just
I don't
burned a hole in his
perceive
hand.
that his is like a lightsaber where it's.
Yeah, but that's what I was gonna say. Like,
To
maybe
me,
it's not
it's heat vision.
Yeah.
Like they call it laser vision, but it's heat vision. It's just burning the shit. Like it's not. I don't think it's so hot.
Yeah, and it
It's
just
like-
burns the out, so it'll slowly get bigger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's like an explosion. Like it's just like
Yeah, so it's not like a
fire.
okay. Because I was gonna
It's an
compare. That's what I was
intense
gonna compare it
directed
to.
flame. So I don't think like it just. I mean, he's bleeding to death. Like it just.
Yeah,
rips
there
a
was.
hole in
You
him.
definitely couldn't have saved him no matter what. I mean, he literally lasered him through his whole entire groin area.
Yeah, I thought he was just gonna. But
That's what I thought he meant. But I didn't think he was gonna go straight through.
Yeah, I didn't
you
either.
know?
But the camera angle kind of gave it away once he went behind him.
Yeah.
He was gonna do it that way. It was a lot of good.
What's
dialogue.
cool what they did. I'm sorry, I didn't interrupt.
Yeah,
you.
you're
Like,
good.
What I like about it is that they went out of their way, the writers and the showrunners, to make you feel like just slightly bad for Homelander.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure.
But then he's so awful what he does that they don't let you like start to like it's
Well, yeah.
not he's not getting a redemption arc.
Oh,
Homer's
no,
not
yeah,
getting
no,
a redemption arc.
absolutely not.
They were very careful to make sure that you can feel bad for him, but but you don't feel bad for an axe murderer either. Like
Exactly.
he just often like what he does is awful. Especially because most of the people he didn't even know there's other people. He's there's a lot of new faces.
Yeah, he killed him just because they were there.
And he just killed them. They were there just to torment the other woman.
And I think
And-
Barbara's quote about when she says like what she said that basically they said like the mental, like we brought in all these psychiatrists to make sure that you were accepted. It was like, so they already know, like we know now that he could have left. He decided to stay. So you're a product of the environment that you decided to stay in. It wasn't like you were in this abusive relationship, one sided, you can't get out, you're trapped. You literally flew out your mother.
What's that one where you stay
you
with?
could have left off the day you were born.
What's that disease where you stay with your abuser though? Was it Munchausen? No, not Munchausen. Stockholm syndrome. Yeah, that's literally what it is. It's just it's literally acute Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
He chose to stay there because he thought that was the good thing, but he literally could have escaped.
He wouldn't know anything else.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
He's
Yeah.
been there since birth, so he wouldn't even know what like a normal like. It's not like he's reading books or something about normal families, watching TV. He knows a normal family's like. This is the only thing he knows. So even though like they how would he know that he could leave? Like
No, right.
He probably was so scared to like, what's the world like
Yeah,
out
what
there?
would it be like?
I don't think they were like honest with him. Yeah, go ahead. You can leave anytime you want.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure
great
no
out
one
there.
said that to him. They
Yeah.
just said, "Shoo, he doesn't want to leave, so let's just keep doing
Yeah.
what we're doing." And they knew they had that like that afraid to flee.
And
power
honestly,
over
that's
him
a good-
psychologically,
And
which
now-
is
and
even
I
worse
think the
than,
test started then. The
Yeah.
tests weren't for him to prove how strong he was. I think the test was to prove the next version of him, what they would need to do to make them stronger. I don't think it was to prove how strong Homelander was. I think they already knew how strong he was. I think it was just
It's like, how
we
can they
can touch up
improve?
on what can we touch up on, and
That's a
the
really
fact
good
that it's a
point.
mental thing is like maybe we can't touch up on him. Maybe he is the perfect specimen in terms of physically,
yeah.
but mentally we can't change
Because
that.
realistically, we haven't seen Homelander take damage from anything outside of the fact that like he got a black eye. Like
Yep.
we still haven't seen him take like any physical damage. We haven't seen blood from Homelander yet.
Yep.
So it'll be interesting to see it. And like I brought it up last week. There's the animated show on Amazon. It's The Boys Diabolical, and they do show what
I
happens
was
with
gonna say
Homelander.
Arcane. My fault.
There is an episode that shows Homelander's like first real save and how bad he messes it up. But like it shows you how he becomes accustomed to the world. It's very similar to how Ryan was when Homelander first takes Ryan out into like the restaurant and all that. Homelander very early on gets overwhelmed by the cameras. He's automatically, as soon as he's brought out is Vaught's #1 prized possession.
Yep.
He's literally made into a bigger name than Soldier Boy ever was. So like it's kind of cool, I guess, how you say that, where it's like he might have been scared the whole time of what the real world would have been like and what they were telling him, because the animated show does show you what it is. Like when he first gets out there, the cameras and the lights and all that, it overwhelms him, like to the point where he flies away. He runs away because he doesn't know what to do, and they have to send Black Noir to go find him.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting to think about that. I didn't think about that when I was saying that, like, you know, he could have physically left, but mentally, what would he have even thought about the outside world?
I'm trying to think. They use that trope a lot, obviously. That like, well, if it's all you know, what can you do?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I mean, if I don't even know, I know I can leave, but how the fuck do I get out of here and how do I operate?
Yeah.
How do I know
What
I
do
like
I do
milk?
once I
How
get
do I
out
know
there?
I like milk until I fucking get a taste of it? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Speaking of milk, that boy had a whole he had a whole storage room full of it. That
Right?
He had a
I'm like-
drawer full of it. Well, had like
This
24 milk cartons in there, or 24 milk bottles
Speaking
in
of
there.
milk, like Cameron brings neat. Like I could have went so many ways. But yeah, I mean, I do think that this scene is gonna go down as actually this episode is gonna go down as like the best we've seen of Homelander in general. We got a lot of quotes from Homelander. We got a lot of memes from him. I don't think there's a meme in here besides a squirt, squirt, squirt.
Yeah.
Everything else was like fucking terrible.
It was pretty much a horror episode as far as
it was a horror episode on his end, and the fact that he goes in the elevator is covered in blood. I think he starts smiling towards the end.
Yeah, he does. It shows you. First of all, one of the best shots in the entire show was like showing the back, and he's got his hair's all slicked back from the blood.
Shot, the best camera shot in the world.
I sent it in there, and yeah, like it shows his face as like the elevator dings onto whatever floor he's onto next, and he starts to smile, and then that's how the episode cuts to black.
Yep. So that was the whole revenge.
Which I mean, this also could mean that Homelander's not even done. I mean, this could be a whole thing where he goes into somewhere else.
Oh no,
next.
I don't think he's done.
Yeah, like, I mean,
As I said, I'm waiting to see like how he reacts to the outrage and everything that happened from the Starlight stuff, because he's so caught up in his own shit, he don't even know what the fuck is going on.
And he said to that barber girl, he was like, he said oh, that's where you're wrong. He's like, I'm not weak anymore. So I mean, we could see where like this is finally like where Homelander's just like. His version in the mirror literally said it was like your last weakness is shedding your humanity. So if he wants to, maybe this will finally be it. Maybe we'll get Homelander where he's just unhinged for the rest of the season, and there's no way to bring him. There's no humanity left.
I don't know how they managed to make him less humanity already.
It's not really.
It was just
It'd be
literally his
full-blown
massacre,
massacre.
but he is gonna be
Like
committed
with
up
humans, I feel like he's just gonna kill the rest of the humans that like opposed against him. But like who would he even like? Butcher's like his main arch nemesis.
No, he wouldn't go after the boys.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's going. I think he's going after the humans that maybe marched against him. In a mass
It
murder.
might just be the
Well, but you gotta
government,
think
like I said.
Butcher is trying to turn Ryan against him. So
Yeah.
like that's basically.
And he also brought up Ryan. He said, "I'll teach my son to be just like me." He's like, "We aren't human." Like, and I'll never.
He
let
said,
my son
yeah,
think
my
that."
son, he's not human.
Yeah.
He's never going to be, or he doesn't have to worry about being one, because I'll just raise him just like me. I was like, damn, he really could. It's not like he could, like Ryan really can't choose his path because everybody keeps choosing it for him. So I mean, they said that this is the best that you ever see Anthony Starr, give him an Emmy and all that. Yes. give him an Emmy.
When he's just there laughing,
like
that's an incredibly difficult thing to do, to play that type of energy, and scary, but it's scary and funny, and it's like disturbing. Like, it's just really an incredible performance. Like the intensity in the actor's in his face when he's playing that scene, that's great. That's going to go down one of the greatest moments of the show in my mind.
No, yeah, absolutely.
I think it is.
And
his performance is just so good.
And it's so funny too, because like that's the thing that's like everybody's been saying since season 1. It's like every time Homelander's on screen, you just feel anxious. Like you don't know what he's gonna do next. But I feel like we never got that moment.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, yeah, you feel scared, you feel anxious, like you don't know what he's gonna do. But like every time you do it, it's like, okay, he doesn't do anything.
Later somebody head off.
Yeah, like he does something light. Like
yeah.
this is the first time I feel like where we've seen like where Homelander like completely loses it. Like, we're like, this is finally where it's like, okay, like the whole anxious and the horror and the being scared that he is in there finally pays off, and he does do something to where you're like, oh, I had a reason to be scared this whole time.
Yep.
Because any other time, usually it's like, okay, he flies away, or you see it off screen, you don't know what he does. Like in this one, yeah, like he kills the people in the room off screen, but you knew what happened. He'd already killed 2 people prior to that. Like you knew what was coming. You know,
But
so
I don't think he lost control at all. Like this is just him.
this is just him now. Yeah,
This
absolutely.
is just like those people
I think his
were
last,
playthings.
his last one with
like,
lose control was with Ryan. That
Yeah.
was his last losing control moment.
and
So
that's
if Ryan
the only
challenged
thing
him
I'm
again,
wondering
I don't know what the
about.
fuck
Like,
happened.
is that could he? You know, that's the only thing left that's kind of keeping him grounded at all is his son. Like,
Right.
could that be the final snap? Could he literally
if Ryan
kill
leaves again for
like,
Butcher,
or
Yeah.
want
I'm
to
saying. So I think
to
he'll go
kill
after Butcher.
Ryan? Like,
Yeah, he
could he
could.
get to the point where he decides he just wants to kill Ryan? Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
Like, he
he
could
doesn't
He
wanna-
wanted to
doesn't-
laser him, man. He really did. I thought he was gonna fucking laser his house up or whatever. His fucking sweet,
no
whatever you want to call
milkshakes
it.
for you. Like,
Yeah,
so.
I don't. No more
did,
milk
did,
for
did
you.
steal that man's milkshake though.
You gonna drink that? Gonna drink that milk? Yeah, I do. I mean, Demar I do see a situation where whoever he goes after next, grave danger. It ain't gonna be good for whoever he goes after next, and how he figures it out. You know what I'm saying? It could be A-Train if he feels like A-Train is the one that stole the compound.
I feel like A-Train's days are numbered.
we gotta be numbered.
So I want to talk about it. 'Cause I know I texted you about it. So I got it leaked, not information, but the title of an episode.
Oh yep.
So they leaked the rest of the episode names, and episode 8 is titled "Assassination Run." Oh boy, A Train is
What was
Assassination Run is the name of the finale. It's like, oh, they're gonna come my boy A Train on. I can't do this. I don't know. A Train's got a very interesting situation going on, man. I don't know.
I'm playing with fucking fire.
Yeah,
now,
like,
for
it's getting
sure.
worse and worse to the point now where it's
Still
like
a compound V from. I mean,
And you know
I
he
thought he
can
could get it
sense-
from somewhere, but I think he gonna get it from fucking Homelander's
Yeah,
place.
I know.
Somebody said, can't Homelander like use his powers like sense like that he's been?
Yeah, he
there,
can
like,
sense it.
somebody-
Then the
yeah.
he
can
hasn't-
smell it. He can smell him.
He hasn't really seen A Train since the whole he saved Huey thing. I don't think.
No, yeah, he definitely hasn't seen him.
He just went
because
right
Homelander
into,
hasn't been around.
Yeah, he went right into.
But we definitely know that Homelander's got a heightened sense of smell and hearing and all
Yeah.
that. So I mean, he probably could smell if somebody.
And
that's
he
not
ran
him-
through his fucking house like an idiot.
Yeah, instead of
Twice.
walking.
he went from one side of the room to the other, and then went upstairs to see that Ashley shit in the toilet.
Yeah.
I don't think that was smart.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen with A Train, man. Like, I'm still hoping that, like I said, if I need that scene like we talked about last week. Like, if he's gonna live, if Homelander's gonna go after him, I need to see A Train put in some type of work, run away, do something, push yourself to your limit. I need to see something from A Train, man, because
That'd be cool.
I can't see him. I can't see A Train just get killed off like in a basic way. Like,
Yeah, I
just
don't think
getting
he's
killed by
going-
Homelander.
But I
like-
think
even if he dies, like doing like, I mean, assassination run can mean a lot of things. I mean, like, I'm not, obviously,
He could be the one doing the assassinating.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, this A Train could be hurting somebody that we, for all we know,
Yeah.
we don't know what A Train's whole thing is yet. Like, this could be a whole misdirection where they're like, okay, A Train's turning to the good side, and then at the end he's like, no, screw that.
Yeah,
Like,
don't
it's
come
too
off
far.
how. Don't come off how. I mean, like Black Noir, you can get away
he
with
cut
because he
ties
didn't have no
with Huey,
arc.
technically.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't-
even Black Noir's death made sense
Yeah,
though
it made
because
sense, but he
he
didn't
knew
have no,
about
like-
everything. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like he didn't talk. Like he didn't have no.
yeah. So
like,
there was no emotion.
no
to it,
emotion
yeah.
right there. It's like, oh shit, like, but if H-
Assassination, though, the more I think about the assassination, I just think that's the president.
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. Is like, okay, like,
you
they're
don't
gonna
think of it like murder. Like it's not
Yeah.
murder run; it's assassination run, which makes it feels like
assassination usually means you're killing somebody important.
Yep.
they're planning
So-
on killing the president or something. Like,
Especially when we know that he's anti-soup and all that.
and
now,
that might be like that clip where he's making the speech where like we're not,
yeah, like we're not celebrities and,
and him like that could be
figures
him
anymore.
just take that.
That could
just
be a better
him taking
fucking
over the
scene than
fucking
what he
government.
did too. If
Yeah,
he was the
because like I
president,
mean, like
does
that was something I predicted. Like I said, like
That'd
like,
be a
in the
great way to
comics,
end the season. And he literally proclaims himself president of the United States. Like he
Yeah.
just pretty much like
And we said
that
and I
could
said
be a
that
great
in the-
way
in
to
the
end the
comics, He
season.
does that. So
Yeah.
the comics,
a
he
pretty
takes the
awesome
government by
cliffhanger.
force.
So
I don't know, man. This is episode 4 is what they needed. I know a lot of people were hating, and they got low scores for the first 2 episodes, saying
But
it's too woke.
It's so weird though.
it.
So the ratings are going. The ratings went down, but the viewership's up 21% from season 3.
Oh yeah, for
More
sure.
people
I
are
bet.
watching this than season 3.
they just don't like what's being shown. Like
yeah.
some of the messages.
It's the way.
I
It's,
think
I think it's the
they've
way. It's
been
being shown.
though they've been review bombed.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
you can look at statistically, like there were more reviews of this season already than there were of season like 3.
Oh,
The
yeah, I
whole
believe it.
season.
Yeah.
You know
And
how
you
many
can
people
go
make fake accounts
into
that
Rotten
review bomb?
Tomatoes and see like when the reviews were, and they've all been like, they're and like they obviously there's a big stuff going, a lot of conspiracies about. I don't even, they're not conspiracies, it's facts. Like Rotten Tomatoes is allowing this because it makes them look good, and there's just a
Right.
lot of people out there. So I mean I think ultimately if you look online, most of the comments are like, "Wow, this is great." Like, there's those people that are mad about a few things, but it seems like in general the comments are mostly like, "This was amazing."
Yeah,
For sure.
This piece,
the
this
real
episode.
people that actually have something to say and it's actually like worth reading or something. Yeah, it's usually positive, and people know where the show is heading, the direction's heading. It's not always going to be fucking, propaganda about left versus right. That's what people thought it was going to be for a long time, and they're not coming out and sugarcoating it like this is Republican versus Democrat. They're saying like this is fascism and feminism and all these stronger terms for people that are like extremists. And they, like you said, they put even on the fucking they mentioned the cabal, they mentioned pedophilism or whatever. Like they're using words that we use to
real
talk
life
about
shit,
people.
right.
They got this on fucking slideshows and shit. So it's not like they're not hiding it. They're not trying to sugarcoat it. They're just literally coming out and saying what they want to say. And I think that's obviously where people got kind of mad about. But who the fuck cares? The right people know this show is. They just started cooking, and they went in a direction that even people saying that was gonna be a good episode, I didn't think it was gonna be that fucking good. I thought it was great pace, great action, great tone, great dialogue, just great everything.
Even with the religion thing, like how Firecracker got basically like not much shit for fucking a minor, but because Starlight aborted a baby, like that got more like just little things like that is gonna bring people in with like negativity. But like this show is gonna get season 5. You're not canceling this
That
show.
was
Like,
that was clearly a ploy though. Like that's a thing that like the internet
That's
makes jokes
literally
about that.
what's
Literally-
happening in real life.
The internet makes jokes about that all the time. If they would have been a man shown screwing an underage woman, then it'd been like a joke. But like it's always like, okay, well if a 15-year-old boy screwed his teacher, hell yeah.
Like oh wow,
Good shit,
I
Junior.
wish my teacher was
my teachers looked like that when I was in school.
Like, all right,
that was
buddy.
literally just a play on those jokes. Like you see it all the time. Whenever you're like, where it's like, oh, a teacher made an OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, and then like they're like, oh, where were those teachers at when I was in school?
Yeah.
That's literally exactly what that joke was. That's why she was like, oh, just hit send. She they ain't gonna judge her.
When
for
she did that shit, I was like, oh
She said,
shit.
fuck around,
Yeah,
find out.
yeah,
Like,
she
oh,
was never
shit.
gonna get judged for that. If they would have like brought that to Ezekiel, said, oh, Ezekiel, we got footage of you fondling a little girl, then it would have been like, oh shit,
Yeah.
You know, like you can't do that. Like, come on, that's a gross topic.
Yeah.
But because of the fact that it was a grown woman in that, like that's literally jokes get made like that on social media every single day.
Yep.
Every single time a teacher or an older woman gets outed for sleeping with a kid that was under 18, it is literally never ever frowned upon. It's always made jokes about.
And abortion is just cut and dry. You can't really go either way with it. It's
Yeah.
just woman gets an abortion, you hate her, you
hate her, or you love it.
You know what I'm saying, or you embrace it. So it is one of those things. If people are negative about it, not watching the full show, just watching parts of it. I thought they killed it. I thought it was 10 out of 10 episode, and the fact that we had to wait 7 more days.
I'm going to sleep for 7 days.
Like, bro, hibernate and elevate.
I already
I mean, I'm done with Arcane, dude. Put me
No,
on.
don't talk about Arcane, bro.
Dude, I'm done. Like, what can I watch? I don't know if I can watch anything and be happy. So,
Bro, watch All American, bro.
We're not watching all
Spencer
American,
fell out
bro.
the first round, bro. Y'all not.
Oh
we gotta
my
talk
God.
about that,
He
bro.
a fourth rounder at best.
Heisman finalist.
Suddenly, I have nothing else to talk about.
Heisman finalist just had a game win a touchdown in the national championship game. Don't go in the first round.
I
Like,
suddenly have nothing
You
else
all
to
mad
talk
about it?
No, I'm just saying.
Like, the narrative don't make sense type shit. Back against the wall for no reason type shit.
Yeah. Because he
I
got
get it.
shot. I guess he can't be a first round pick. So.
Saint Doe got shot. Niggas ain't drafting him higher no more. You know what I'm saying? His stock is falling, bro.
Yeah, I take advantage of that dynasty.
With that being said, you guys got anything else to add?
Sorry, Cameron Brink. We waiting for you next season.
Rip in
Can't believe
peace.
you went down like that right before the Olympics.
Rip in peace, bro. For real.
And then y'all sold the under.
They did. You seen that? It was like
man.
30 seconds left in that scene. It was like 168. I'm like, all right. So these fourth quarters
They
are
had
getting way too
56 in the third. Like
They've been going crazy. I'm not sure it's only been over.
I'm not saying that it's shocking that when Rodney bets with us that we lose it, but I'm saying that it's not shocking.
It's like they want us to look bad, scared to
Yeah, like,
assassinate.
of course. So it's whatever. Me and Jules keep winning. I'm not bringing up my bets to Rodney anymore.
Yeah, he the bad luck. It's really not us.
His good luck when he bets solo.
Right.
Damn, you got anything to say about Josh Giddey?
No.
Yeah.
No.
I have his jersey. I got to get rid of it.
Yeah, you gotta
I mean,
see
that's
if you
cool.
exchange it.
I
for
hope Alex Caruso wear number 14 so I can get a plate change.
No plate.
I'm doing that with my Drake mate, Mac Jones jersey.
I don't blame
It's
you.
quiet. I'm not
I
buying
don't
no
blame
jersey.
you.
No, I mean, it's actually funny because Caruso started with us 7 years ago.
Yeah,
Summer League.
yeah, with the hair.
With the same coach, I think too.
Yeah. So it was pretty cool. It's actually funny to see like how that comes full circle. I think the Bulls got fleeced, to be honest.
Yep, I agree.
I'm not throwing that term out there lightly. I really do think like a 1-for-1 trade. Like I guess like you could say, oh, Giddey has all the potential in the world. He ain't show it. So he had a good rookie season. Looked horrible this season.
The Bulls talking about getting rid of Lonzo too, so it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to like fully go and try to put like a team around Giddey, sure. I mean, they're a team that they're in that position because they don't really got nothing around. They got Kobe White, like.
And I thought the
That's-
trade was weird because Kobe White did break out.
Yeah.
So like now you got
So what do you put Kobe White at the 2?
Kobe.
That- I'm about to say,
what I'm
that's
saying.
tough.
Now you got Kobe White at the 2, two
And
guys
then
that can't
DeMar
defend
DeRozan
at a
at the
high
3.
level. Now you got Zach LaVine at the 3, and
Yeah,
then DeMar, like
you
gotta
gotta
get
move
rid
Zach
of,
LaVine.
I seen a rumor that they offered Zach LaVine to 15 teams, so nobody want. I don't know. Nobody.
I wouldn't
want
want Zach LaVine either.
Yo,
Like,
Zach
nigga,
LaVine. Yo, Zach LaVine.
No, I definitely think the Bulls would have been fine if they got like some picks back. But like 1-for-1 trade, that's insane. Like I'm taking Caruso at 30 years old before I take Giddey right now.
After what I've seen in the playoffs,
Yeah.
yes, I would take.
Especially because Caruso can actually knock down a perimeter 3, and he's still a lockdown defender.
Yep.
I mean, Lou Dort, Caruso, Kaysen Wallace, and
SGA is a good defender.
Chet Holmgren. Like I mean, like we
they
have a
an
crazy,
all defensive lineup.
yeah, we
you
have
know what
literally
I'm
a crazy defensive core now, and like I said, Caruso just being another perimeter threat is a
It's
good.
Yeah,
move.
look, yeah, it says they offered 15 teams.
Yeah, 15
Thunder still got to
Levine.
see us though, so that's why. I
It's
ain't
like,
really
y'all
get it.
sure y'all don't want
Y'all
Zach
gotta pay
LaVine?
Brandon Ingram $196 million.
He's banging on the table for Zach LaVine. Like
Somebody,
I doubt
they
it.
got to see us, so I ain't really tripping.
They got to play us too.
They got to see us.
I don't blame you. Anything else you got? I mean, Levine. I don't think he gonna get traded anytime soon either. Weird
they might trade
situation
that
for
nigga
that
for God.
All right, we're doing first week touchdown best next week on the podcast.
man. Yeah, 3 months early. 3 month early.
Yeah, we got Patrick Mahomes running the first touchdown. Derrick Henry passing
We
touchdown.
here to lose y'all money. So.
Yeah, like,
Rashad Bateman, longest reception.
Like, get ready to bet a quarter on this parlay.
I just want to fuck y'all money up. With that being said,
Go
though-
Kamiko. That's my
Oh yeah,
last
go
name I say.
Kamiko. She's a beautiful.
And go
woman.
pick up your Time magazine cover, Homelander Superhero of the Year.
If you support home.
Yeah, if you're a home teamer like us, if you're not a
you better be a home team.
if you're not a fascist starlighter.
Yeah. All right. With that being said, thank you guys for joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.